What's up, everybody? Welcome to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan. Today, the 80s Transformers fan will be taking a look at a G.I. Joe classified series. It is the General himself. It is G.I. Joe General Clayton Hawk Abernathy. This is currently the standard packaging for G.I. Joe classified figures. You can't see the figure, but there is an image of the toy on the front of the box, along with a little battle scene behind him. Here's some artwork right here. They show you the contents of the box, his accessories that are included. It says Hasbro down here. It has the G.I. Joe star. Side of the box has this little readout thing. You go online and check out his little stats. He is number 103 in this line. Back of the box is a render of the toy within the box. Our General Clayton Hawk Abernathy stands 6 feet 3 inches or 162 millimeters tall. They show a close-up of the General, the patch on the shoulder, a whole lot of legal right there, and some more of that artwork from the front of the box on this side. And again, we see the 103 in the series. So let's get this guy open so my G.I. Joe command structure can be completed. Here is the General, his own individual tray. I like how they do these. Might regret it when they change it back to the regular packaging. Nothing else in the box. The accessories are contained in this little foot locker. This is so cool that they do that. It's so cool. And we get a little warning label right there in the foot locker. And we have the tissue paper here with the Cobra and Joe logos on it. Weapons everywhere. We have a pistol. See if that clip is removable. Nope, thank goodness. I didn't want to lose that. Have his little service pistol right here. Nice little detail on it. Has the General helmet with 1 star on it. A couple dings in it. Looks pretty cool. It's just like a shotgun, grenade launcher type deal. Not really sure, but looks really good. Alright, this is a shotgun right here. It's 12 gauge. I believe. Nice molding and detail. Could have used a little brown on it. And he has another gun. The General's going to kill up some Cobras, boy. Nice molded and detail on there. Could have used a little bit of paint to accent the details. A couple sets of goggles, because the General can't have stuff blowing in his eyes out there. I mean, what the hell? I mean, are these not the same? One of them looks... Oh, one goes over his face, one goes over the helmet, because it's 2 different sizes. Alright. Now for the General. When I tell you they could have saved some money and cut some costs by like not printing this image back there. This is so cool, but I mean, I'm not going to keep it. This is A1 package presentation type material, but I mean, I have no room for it. You collecting all these toys and figures, like where do you store stuff like this? But on to the recycling bin. And this concludes the unboxing portion of our video. Alright, when I review my figures, I don't put in any prep time. I like to just take them out of the box and go for it and get the natural feel as if I was a kid again tearing open a toy. So I didn't realize that you can flip this around. I was throwing it out and you can flip this around and form like a mural. And if you have been collecting these, which most of you guys probably already know, you can put them side by side and create like a wall. And I never knew that. I was just tossing these things out without a second thought. But this is like pretty cool. Alright, let's take a look at our G.I. Joe Commander General Hawk. And he looks so impressive, just even at a glance. The well-defined, stern look on his face. He looks every bit the leader of the Joes. He has just a touch of gray that gives him that wisdom and that commanding look. Well-sculpted features. His eyes look printed on very well. His nose and his mouth, the little divot in his chin. I mean, man, he looks very good. The sculpt in his hair. The sculpt of the hair isn't really blowing me away, but it still looks good nonetheless. And then where he really truly shines is this leather jacket. I was kind of concerned how it is going to pull this off. I haven't seen any reviews. This thing's been out for like several months, at least 4 months. And never checked out a video, but man, I was concerned about the jacket and how it would look. But it looks fantastic. I'm telling you. It has a nice little wash on it, a little bit of a leathery look to it. He has these awesome medals on his chest. He has a tag with his name on it, Abernathy. I mean, it looks fantastic. The zipper, the wrinkles, the folds. On his right shoulder, he has Yo Joe and the G.I. Joe star. Nice wrinkling in the sleeve. Coming down to his leather gloved hands. I mean, it really looks good. Swinging around, taking a look at that holster and that belt buckle. Nice leathery molded in detail. Nice gold eagle belt buckle coming around his waist. Some nice pouches. He has the holster over his chest. On his left shoulder is the American flag. I mean, it really looks nice. Holster strap going around his back. The only part about his jacket that doesn't really blow me away is like the furry collar. It could have been done a little bit better. It could have used a couple different colors to bring out the sculpted in detail. But the jacket is very impressive. Very nice mold, very nice paint job. But when we come to his pants, he's wearing like just standard G.I. Joe type recycled pants with the molded in detail and the camouflage on them. Some knee pads and the standard G.I. Joe boots laced all the way up to the top. Taking a look at the bottom of his boots, we have some manufacturing printing under there, but we also have some molded in detail on the soles of his shoe. He looks very, very impressive. So far, I'm very pleased with the way this figure came out. But one thing while I was moving him around, I noticed, if you can hear it and see it, his butterfly joints in his shoulders are wobbly. See that? And it's the same on both sides. And I noticed just trying to put his arms down, like this arm, I guess the holster. His arms don't come down as much as I would like. And this holster over here is really, I think it's the holster. It could be that joint really preventing this arm from coming down because it's like kind of kicked out. I guess I'll take it off and see if that's really what's going on here. And the head's removable, by the way. Here is the neck peg. And see if I can get his arm to come down a little bit more. And it doesn't. Like I'm squeezing it. I might need to heat it up. But this one arm is kicked out. So it wasn't the holster. It might be that butterfly joint, or it might need to be heated up. Pressing on it as hard as I can, and it's still a little bit kicked out. Alright, let's take a look at the general's articulation, starting with his head, of course. You can look up, it's not a lot going up. This is a sculpt of the back of his head hitting his neck. Not a lot going up. We get a decent amount going down. It's on the ball joint. We just showed that 360. Some side to side, a little bit of expression. And a little bit of movement right here at the neck and the chest area. Coming to his arms and these things, I don't know. They already look suspect. Can't really get them up that far. And it's just like, it's the shape of the arms, I guess, trying to keep the jacket together. Can't really get them up far. I don't want to stress and pull it out. And this one seems a little loose over here, the right arm. Full 360 at the shoulder. Bicep swivel. Elbow bend beyond 90. Coming down to his wrist, full 360. He has an upward wrist hinge right there. Again, nice molded in hands that look like leather gloves. Checking this wrist hinge over here, and it is a top wrist hinge as well. Coming down to his midsection, he has a cut right here, breaking up the jacket a little bit. And it moves from left to right just a little bit, not a whole lot. And I'm really not getting a lot to the back or to the front out of it. It's almost like a wasted joint. We can get some movement, but it's just not a lot there. Coming down to the bottom of his jacket, and oh, he has a belt on his pants as well, molded in right there, in the bottom ruffle of the jacket right there. That's pretty cool. But we're here for the articulation, and he can turn his. I'll probably get force it more. You probably get hit a plastic, whining a bit, but not a lot out of the waist area in the midsection right here from this figure. Coming to his legs, we can get him to the side this far, so we can get him drop down and get a little bit more. Nope. Drop down was activated. This is how far we can get his legs out to the sides. Put them back up to the front. That's pretty cool, to the front, to the back, and it's hitting on his hard plastic of his butt right there, and kind of looks unsightly a little bit. Coming out right there, so not a lot right there. He has an upper thigh swivel, which no human thigh does that right there at that point. Coming down to his knee. Double jointed knee bend, plenty out of that. Doesn't look too terrible broken up either when you do it. And coming down to the boot, we have a boot cut. Everyone loves a boot cut, but human legs don't do this either. But it's there to help you pose your figure. Coming to the ankle, front, and back. And again, nice boots on this guy. Nice molded in detail. So a lot of articulation there. So he's kind of failing in the articulation area just in his chest and waist. And we can't get that arm down. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But I guess you got to sacrifice looks for articulation sometimes, so that's what's going on. Speaking of looks, let's get this guy armed up a bit. We're going to start with the helmet, of course. On the original cartoon, he was always seen wearing the helmet, and it has a layer of paint on the outside and different color on the inside to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. And again, he has the solo star with a couple dents in it. Just put it right on his head. He can't buckle it, but he has the buckles. I don't know if somebody cut it on him or something. It's a little bit loose for my taste. I guess it stays on. It just feels a little bit loose. Seems like it could be a little bit of a tighter fit. Maybe might get tighter when we get the goggles. Here are the goggles that go over the helmet. I know this because it is the larger one. So we get it on the helmet, might tighten it up. I think that guy there didn't help it get any tighter at all. But that helps complete the look. Alright, next up for his weapons is the smaller pistol. Showed it off a little bit earlier. Looks like got a bit of an extended mag right there. See how well it fits in his hand, how easily it fits in his hand. We just lost the helmet. He got like a double trigger finger. You Cobra scum. Back, back, back. You know, is this hinge worth anything while he has this gun or anything? I don't know. He can point down. Alright, let's get this gun holstered. And this should go right here. This is the shorter gun, and again, the pouch is very nicely detailed. A little bit of leather texturing in it. And next up for this even more death kill pistol gun with the G.I. Joe star on it. Looks very cool. Let's go left-handed. Check out this hand. They're the same equal opposite hands, but I still want to give this hand a little bit of time in this video. This finger on the trigger. And let's blast some more Cobras. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, let's get this one in this holster. Get them all armed up. I think these are the only two guns he can actually hold. A holster or something. There are no more pouches or places to store anything. So next up is this thing. Like this, whatever this is doing some damage out here. You know, some type of shotgun. And at first I thought this was a grenade launcher under here. But you can't launch grenades with the strap in the way, can you? So let's get this in his hands. His joints are very tight. Alright, I had to go off camera to kind of get it in there so he can hold it with two hands. I really want, you know, this type of thing. He has to be able to wield it with two hands. I probably could have got a little bit better, but this is good enough for the video for right now. Boop, 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 boop. Take that, Cobra. The last weapon is this 12 gauge. You can see where he loads the shells at. Nice little detail into the gun. Wish they had painted this part right here brown. That would have been cool. But it looks very bland. Get this in his hand. Finger on the trigger. Pretty sure about it. The slender design of this, I can get two hands on this, no problem. There we go. There we go. We got it. Kicking in doors and blasting Cobras. And lastly, let's take this helmet off and put these goggles on. I think these are the ones that go just right over his face. And there we go. Now he looks like Mechanic from He-Man. The helmet back on. I got two sets. Got to take this one off. Alright, here we go. This is a very cool looking figure. The articulation could definitely be better on this particular one, but he still looks good. Alright, this is part of the review where we give our action figures the size up and a rundown. This first comparison, I want to use the cartoon model and check General Hawk out, see how much he conjures vintage nostalgia. And even though this is the cartoon model, it goes the same for the vintage toy where General Hawk doesn't wear gloves, and they chose to give this guy basic gloves on his hands instead of just using his flesh tone for the hands. And I think they're doing this to come back later and give us a vintage carded version. And hopefully when we get that vintage carded version, they'll change the gun to gold, because the chest holster gun for the vintage figure, although not removable, it was clearly a gold gun, and I think they're saving that for later. Here's General Hawk next to the two sergeants, Duke and Slaughter. Here's Cobra Commander and Serpentor. Man, Serpentor is a big dude. From the world of Star Wars, here's the Black Series Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi. SH Figure Arts Second Form Frieza. Last but not least, here's Ultra Magnus from Transformers Earthrise, because when they turned Ultra Magnus into a human on the cartoon, he looked a lot like the 80s cartoon General Hawk. Alright, real quick, I want to bring up the fact that they can make a few other General Hawks, not just retro card this guy. So counting the retro card, there are at least 4 more versions of the Hawk we can get. We can get the original Hawk that was the missile commander in the vintage toy line. I think it was one of the original 6 that didn't have a swivel arm with the same generic body they had used over multiple guys. And he was a blonde back then, and I guess he went on long enough to become a general. And speaking of general, later on he became a 2-star general, where he came out in this in the 90s with like the voice box, and you can notice that he has 2 stars on his hat, and I guess he got promoted. But before that, and a lot of people point out on the box to this Hawk that there's a General Hawk in the background where he has on like a flight suit, and it was kind of weird and ugly to me. I don't know what they were doing to Joe Line back then, but a lot of people were excited to see that version in the background, so we'll probably get that because they already teased it. Alright fam, this is where I get my final critique on our General Hawk. He looks fantastic. Looks a lot like the vintage figure, and maybe he looks enough like the vintage figure like I won't have to worry about trying to buy him if they retro card this guy, because I mean, other than like the little touches of gray, I think he's a dead ringer for the vintage figure. And as far as the actual accessories, he's only missing the backpack. He comes with 4 guns, the helmet, the 2 different goggles, but not the backpack. Wish we could have got that, and he would have been almost vintage figure accurate as far as the jacket and the pants color matching. Only real flaw to this guy is the articulation in the shoulders, those butterfly joints that kind of rattled around, and the articulation in the midsection. I think some of that suffers from the sculpt of the jacket, and some of that is just QC. But I still like this figure. By no means is he one of the greatest releases they ever had, but he's General Hawk, so you kind of have to have him. I was able to get General Hawk off Target.com as well as a few other Joes. Hawk was $14.99, I believe. Do you guys have him? And what do you think about him? Were you disappointed in it? Is he cool? Is he good enough? But that's all I got for you guys. I want to thank you all for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews of every toy has a story.